wonderful people. Howie here with another Jujitfit video for you. And today I have push-ups for you. And I want to look at a few different variations and ways to make it harder, some easier variations. Basically where you can put your hands differently that's going to work different muscle groups, or just generally try and change it up. One of my favourite compound exercises of all time definitely is the push-up. Press up if you like. I like to call it the push-up because it feels like you're pushing up off the ground, so that makes more logical sense to me. And I will show you how you can make things easier, how you can make things more difficult, how we're going to activate that chest more, and again just a few things that I feel my more favourite variations of the push-up. And I know this video's come out a little bit late. I've had a few things in my life that I've needed to sort out, so that's why it's a bit later this week. I hope you find it useful, and let's get started. So the first thing we really want to talk about is form and maintaining a nice straight back and trying to make sure that we don't elevate those hips as shown here or depress the hips as shown here. We want to try and maintain a nice stable core, a nice solid back. So here I'm trying to show you kind of what we don't want. Starting with the hands roughly about shoulder width apart, just a bit wider, at least for this first one, which is what everybody would call a regular push-up. This is what most people think of. Hands are going to be wide, roughly in line with the chest and shoulders, and lowering ourselves all the way to the floor. Trying to get that chest to the floor using that full range of motion. Just remember that push-ups are a nice compound exercise, although we like to hit the chest a lot with this. It's going to get full scapular retraction and going to work the muscles of the back and the shoulders and the arms as well. And now another more regular position is a close grip. This is what I would call a regular push-up. Having the hands nice and close. As with all of these, I'm trying to keep my elbows flared back. I'd never have my elbows pointing out at perpendicular 90 degrees to my body. Here, trying to push up. That's why I think push up is better than press up. I feel like that describes the motion better. And from here, we want to look at, this is a really nice one for isolating the chest. This is the diamond or triangle, and we're going to make our hands into a diamond or a triangle, and just in front of our chest, just below, and again lowering our chest down, touching the hands and back up, trying to get that full range of motion. So those fingers are just touching, so making that diamond or triangle like shape. From here we have a knuckle push-up. This is something that was shown to me when I started jiu-jitsu originally. Again, if you do this on a more solid surface, you can get some good knuckle conditioning. But this is really good for working kind of the biceps and triceps, at least more so than any of the other exercises so far. Again, keeping those elbows tucked in nice and tight, not letting these ones flare out as much as the others. Because of that, we will probably get a little bit of lat activation. And from here, we have, this is a more tricep isolated exercise. It's a little bit like one that's going to show up later, but if you can see, I'm trying to, with every push, just edge myself forward, really
isolating those triceps, using that mind-muscle connection to really feel I'm using those triceps to extend those arms and push off the ground. You can see a bit of flexion there in my toes. And this is a harder variation. You can do any of the variations shown so far and add this to make it more difficult, and that is just elevating the feet, giving you more mass to push. And I'll also show you another way to make this even harder still. Yeah, as you can see, the basic idea: put your feet up. The higher you put your feet, the harder it gets. Try and maintain as much of that spinal alignment as is humanly possible. And now we're going to look at an easier variation of the push-up, which would be on your knees. And here I'm still trying to keep my core as straight as possible, but I'm on my knees instead. So I'm lowering the mass as opposed to raising it. And again, you can do all these exercises on your knees. So if you're struggling to do a full push-up, then try doing it from your knees. Now you can also do something like a wall press as well. That also works. Now, I want to look at a couple of other variations that can get quite tough. One of these is super wide push-up, super wide hand position. So this is like the wide push-up, but as you'll see, my hands are a lot wider. We get a lot more activation of the shoulders and muscles of the upper back and upper chest as well. As you can see just by some wincing on my face in the last clip, it does get quite tough, especially after you've recorded all the other push-ups. And now we're going to look at a way to make things harder without elevating the feet. So it'd be moving the hands lower down to the body, moving them more towards your center of mass. As I'm trying to show here, I'll show you a little clip of my hands in the regular position and then in the lowered position. So here's the regular, and there's the lowered. Trying to move them again, that's it, towards that center of mass, so we have to push harder rather than using a lever to push. But this works and applies for most of the ones we've shown so far. And finally we have plyometrics. Clapping is one of them, and another variation would be hands to chest, which I'll show in a second. The idea is to push our body off the ground and try and clap, bring our hands to our chest. And this can get quite tough because we've got to resist our body weight coming down, as well as have the power to push it up off the ground to begin with.
So there we have it. 10, I believe it's 10? Yeah, 10 different variations of the push-up and a quick look at form as well. Now, just want to say, it's about getting your form getting it as best as possible, getting it as good as possible, not necessarily about it being perfect, because that will come with time and experience and as those muscles grow and get stronger. So try not to worry, and also when we really want to work that full range of motion as much as is possible, but if you can't, again, don't worry about it too much. Work towards getting a full push-up. If you can't get a full push-up, chest to the ground and full extension again, make that your first goal. Try and work towards doing that or as many of those as you possibly can. But just give them a go. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see, and stay strong, stay safe. Until next time, guys.